What up, athletes? Welcome back to my channel. Here we are in Eccles on the east bank of Demerara. We've just come off of the East Bank bypass road and thought we'd explore this new neighborhood. Now, it seems as if this is some reserve land. It's wet, but they seem to be filling it with sand. Some people have observed that a lot of these neighborhoods are built without green space, without parks and recreational facilities. Hopefully that is what they're going to do with this vacant plot of land that is now a swamp and that they're filling with sand. But let's continue examining what's happening here. So new homes are still being built. So for example, these are single family homes that are being built by single families here in this neck of the woods in Eccles. And morning, what we are trying to establish and determine is how this neighborhood is developing, the character of the neighborhood as new homes continue to be built. Now that's the older established neighborhood of Eccles, closer to the public road, right? So those buildings are closer to the East Bank public road, probably about half a mile away from the East Bank. But on this side you can see these are new homes with new roads. This road, for example, appears to have been built in the last few months. They've covered this road, which was once just a dirt road. They're now covered. Oh, there he is. That's a noisemaker. Puppy. Yeah, so the point is that these homes are now what Eccles looks like. Now form the character of Eccles. Here I think is a mosque. Right, so this is a mosque on that piece of property. This seems to be like pretty large building. It might be a warehouse or some kind of multi-unit condominium or apartment complex. On the other side, these are buildings that have been constructed more recently. As you can see, some of them are close to being completed, while others are still being constructed. Right, that's the beginning of construction on one of those homes. Falcon Drive, this one is called, in Eccles. So you can see that is the direction. It's looking towards the public road, Eccles. The East Bank public road, Eccles, and what appears to be the industrial zone. Right, so there is this industrial zone at Eccles, and that's a huge warehouse building. But here is Falcon Drive, and one we were walking on is Hummingbird Street in Eccles. So that's Hummingbird Street that you're walking all along. And the issue is, this morning, what this neighborhood becomes over time as new homes are built. And the streets infrastructure gets put in. Morning. And that is what we're beginning to see now. As the roads get paved, two dogs are on their morning stroll. As the roads get paved and the houses are completed, you can see that the neighborhood is adopting or taking on its own identity here in Eccles. And it's a mixture of single family units and more recently multi-story buildings. Sorrel Street, right, it says Sorrel Street in block E, Eccles. Right, it's kind of a ranch style neighborhood in this area, with more homes looking like South Florida, right? Communities in South Florida, they're built to withstand hurricanes, usually have homes that are closer to the ground, 1 or 2 stories, and that's what it's beginning to look like in this neck of the woods. So Hummingbird Drive, and these are the homes that have been built here in Eccles, block EE in Eccles. But this is in fact what those of you who are considering remigrating, this is what more recent neighborhood looks like. And like I said, a lot of this was done in the last 10 years or so. Some of the older neighborhoods, the older sides of the neighborhood are probably pre-existing. But this is what Eccles looks like in 2023 after they've paved the roads, because the last time we came through here, which is about 7 years ago, these streets were not paved yet. There are a couple of homes that seem to have been around much longer than the others. This one, for example, might have been one that predates the neighborhood. Where's the house next door? This one is more recently constructed. Oh, trying to avoid the sun. It's still early, it's about 7 a.m. so sun is getting into my lens. But here is a newer construction next to one that is probably constructed about a decade ago. And on the other side, all of these single family homes that are built in the ranch style that you find down in South Florida. Morning. That you find down in South Florida. This one says Oleander Street in block EE, Eccles. Right, Oleander Street in block EE in Eccles. And this section has those single family homes we described. Now I'd like to go back in that direction because it's the bulk of the neighborhood in that direction. But we'll go this way because, well, sun. Right, so this is what the block EE in Eccles looks like here in 2023. As I started to say, those of you who are considering remigrating or coming back to Guyana to retire or to escape the growing difficulty with housing in North America, you know, with the inflation of houses. Dogs. And you're thinking of coming back to build a home, Well, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. One is that these are brand new neighborhoods in some cases. This one not so much, because of course it's been. Let's see, I think there's another street. There's another street down at the other end. Let's see. Yeah, these are brand new neighborhoods. Street dogs. So those of you who are thinking of building, because it's becoming increasingly difficult to keep up with house prices in North America, particularly in Canada.
Distance 5 miles. Duration 1 hour 26 minutes 51 seconds. Pace 25 minutes 12 seconds per mile. 765 kilocalories burned.
This is what you can expect down in Eccles. Right, in Eccles. So if you're thinking of, say, coming back to build a home, the options are endless. And if you're thinking of building a new home, say in a brand new housing zone, because they're being created all the time, then this is how your neighborhood will eventually look after a decade or so. Because if you look at the previous video, the one I showed yesterday about new neighborhoods in Providence, the streets are not paved and it looks quite haphazard. But over time, as people complete construction of their homes, and as the municipality gets established, I did a video where I explained how in Guyana a community gets built. It's sort of centered around a health center, a school, a police station, a police outlet, and a market. As those community infrastructures get built, your neighborhood matures into something that looks like this. Now, what is missing, like I said, is green space, parks, and a community center and sports facilities and so on. So hopefully those of you who've come back or who are planning to come back can introduce that expectation, that more planning, there you go, that more planning can go into these neighborhoods, at the level of planning that we have become accustomed to in North America and places where you are coming back from. Right, but this is a neat little neighborhood here in Eccles. It's maturing, as you can see, is maturing into and coalescing into a tidy, cohesive community. And except for the fact that it doesn't have its own recreational facilities, recreational parks, and community centers, sports complex, gymnasium, that sort of thing, it's still, a tidy community. And like I said, those of you who are returning from abroad can introduce those planning concepts, because we're still living in an unsophisticated society where it seems to be very little thought beyond simply house lots and houses. Lots of dogs in the neighborhood. This is a cul-de-sac. Okay. So that's it, guys. That's what's happening in this neck of the woods. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. In the comments below, tell me what you think about this Block EE neighborhood in Eccles on the east bank to get a slight or a simple taste, slight exposure to a neighborhood that has grown and been built within the last decade or so, and an understanding for what it can be, what is going to happen in some of the newer neighborhoods that are being built, you know, like the ones we saw yesterday. Share those views in the comments below, and share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening here in Eccles, in the fastest growing country in the world, Guyana. Later!